What's up, guys? I'm Zane from 98575D, and today I'm going to be talking about Flex, the hero bot for this year's game, Override. So, with Flex, there is a lot to talk about. Let's just start with the drivetrain. Okay, so the drivetrain is a two-motor drivetrain, both green cartridges, with a 4-inch wheel in the middle, and then what's really intriguing to me, two 2.75 wheels on the back that are anti-static, and then these middle ones are omni. So these are 4-inch, these are 2.75. Looking at the underside of it, I like this a lot. The way they've kind of like braced this almost to make it stronger is really amazing. And sorry if my cat's meowing in the background, but I do really like how they brace this, and I feel like it can definitely make it stronger, and it looks really nice. So you have two of these aluminum U channels with an angle bar, and I mean it looks like a standard Vex drivetrain, like the chassis itself, pretty normal assembly, but it's just very intriguing, this drivetrain with that one middle wheel being powered. Now, I do wonder how powerful it's actually going to be. Because, of course, it's a hero bot. It has two motors. But, I mean, with the 4-inch wheel and then with the 4-inch wheel, Omni wheels, and then the 2.75 wheels, I feel like it might be pretty powerful, actually, since it's being powered from the middle. And this is not going to make sense, but, like, the balance in the middle, it's like centered almost. So it could be really good at pushing. Now, if we move on to like the lift's structure itself, you have a 25 hole angle here, 25 hole angle here, and so 4 25 hole angles, which is really interesting because I feel like that also gives this hero bot a lot of support on the arm. And it's not just going to be like wiggling all about. It's going to be like a very sturdy and structurally good hero bot already. I mean, looking at like the drivetrain and everything else, I feel like already it's starting off pretty good off the bat. And it's nice because it's a simple drivetrain. It's really good for people who are just getting into the sport, or not sport, game. But let's talk about the lift itself. So a lot of hero bots don't end up using a claw. So what I find really interesting is it's a 2-bar lift. Okay, so you have this C channel and C channel, and you have a claw. So I feel like this can actually get really high. So, like for a hero bot, of course, this is pretty good for stacking, at least in my opinion. Of course, it is just a claw to an arm. It's nothing fancy, but I feel like that's what hero bots are always supposed to be. And I just feel like this is not going to wobble around. Looking at this, the angles here, the angle bars, 25 hole angle bars, I just find it really interesting. And even, let me zoom in on this. My cat's still meowing in the background. Let me zoom in on this right here. These gusset angles, you have it in the drivetrain down here, which is totally something new that you don't see in past hero bots. So I think this is to make it like, cause this is not like connected. So if someone were to somehow hit this, since all 4 of these are connected to the, what's it called? What do you call this? The other angle, which is 2x2x14x20, it is very structural. So if someone hits it, you have all of this supporting the structure. And I feel like you could even add longer standoffs and then make it just a tad bit longer, because I feel like it's a little bit on the outer end. But it's very good the way they improved the structure on this to make it very like, so if you get rammed, it's not going to bend and whatnot. Even here, that's what I was talking about. The 90-degree gusset angles are really good, especially if someone's just hitting you straight on, because hero bots tend to be bullied a little bit. But let's talk about the brain placement, the wires. So I think the wire for this, I would probably use zip ties and I wouldn't just let it go freely. But the wire for this is really good. I just worry about it maybe getting tangled in this area over here. But other than that, I think if you just had a few zip ties and kind of like lined it along this C channel, it would be really good. Now let's talk about these that are supporting the four, or yeah, the four, what are they called? The four angle bars here. So what's really interesting about this mounting is they have a drive shaft collar, an empty drive shaft collar. And I feel like it's really innovative, especially for a hero bot, is that they have a drive shaft collar right here. Oh, sorry. What do you... No. A shaft collar. They have a shaft collar here. And then they have the screw going in. So I feel like you don't normally see something like this on hero bots either. So this is pretty new. It would be nice if they could get this spacing a little more proper, because you can see there's definitely a good amount of open space. So that would definitely be something you could improve when building your hero bot. Also, I feel like this could be improved a little bit more too, so that when you're ramming into the goals and you're scoring and whatnot with the hero bot, you could somehow maybe replace this with an upside down C channel or something like that. Now, a few more things. Moving on to this whole sprocket scenario with the 4-inch anti-static wheel to turn the rollers, this is what made me most interested in this bot. You see, you have this motor here, okay, but for some reason, I've never ever seen this. Because they used angles, right? So you cannot really mount the motor and, have enough space. Even you could mount it here, but I don't really know why they didn't mount it to the angle bar here. And they actually mounted it to a sprocket for some reason. It's really interesting, but I'm not complaining. The only problem I have with mounting this to the sprocket is that this is sticking out by a lot, the motor. So if I were to make this, I would probably end up sticking it somewhere in this angle bar here. But the gear ratio for this itself is pretty good. But also, I do think that you could just take this motor and like mount it down here, then have this go up to this, and then, well, hang on, how in the world? You wouldn't even need that. You could literally just have a motor here with an axle going straight to this and this spinning. But this might all just be for torque when you're spinning, or like because you want the roller at a certain speed. So I'm not really judging, but I guess that's that. Another thing I don't really get is how do you... Oh, unless that's a separate shaft. But how do you have a shaft going through here with these drive bar inserts that are locked? Oh, okay. I'm dumb. Alright, scratch that. I didn't even notice. Oh, shoot. My God. Okay, I still get the idea of mounting this, but I didn't know this also powers this, the actual lift itself. I feel like if you made this robot, I would end up powering this wheel by itself, but of course, you could always power it by the arm, but I didn't know that. That's my fault. Now, this is a pretty lot of chains, so if one of these break, your whole robot really fails. So I would definitely find a way to innovate this whole scenario here and make it way better. Now, I definitely do like they're using bearings everywhere and whatnot. Especially, I'm seeing less of these one-post hex nut retainers, and I'm seeing more of these actual bearing flats, which I really like, because that kind of teaches teams which one is better to use. And I think they'll end up liking the bearing flats better, but I can't complain. The one post hex nut retainers are good too. Especially on the drivetrain, they're also using those, so that's really nice. But one other thing I do really like, actually I don't really like about this robot is that this radio, it's not a big deal, but this radio placement is a little weird in my opinion. I don't know why. I just don't like where it is. But that's just a preference. You could put it anywhere you like on your robot really, as long as it doesn't get tangled in anything like the wire. Now, I feel like one more thing I would add is I would maybe put the battery a little bit lower. This is a bit high. So especially if you had your arm up, you'd be a little bit more essential to tipping. So I would definitely move that battery lower. But overall, this is a really nice hero bot for beginners. And it's able to do, I think it's able to do everything in the game. Besides stacking to the maximum height, it's able to do everything. The rollers, grabbing the pins, getting them out of the loaders. It's really good at all of that. The only thing, again, I would change is just this motor sticking out is really bugging me the most of anything in this robot. But there you have it. That's Flex for this year's game, Override. I feel like it's one of the better hero bots. I mean, I think might be better than Axel. But once they start getting built, we're really going to have to see how they actually do. This is 9575D signing out. Goodbye.